Good morning, children. So already we completed one chapter, acid, base and salts, and next chapter we will study about actually metal, non-metal. In that metal, non-metal, some of the concepts they are removed, activities they are removed. Okay, which are those I will discuss. Then we will continue. Okay. Metals, non-metals. Okay. Here completely they removed metals physical properties. No, nothing is left there. Only we are studying about non-metal. Okay. One more is the reactivity series. One more is about extraction of metals. Extraction of metals and corrosion. So these are the concepts you are studying in this metal non-metal chapter. So we will study one by one. Okay, one by one about this concept. I think you know very well what is a non-metal. Last year we studied what is non-metal, metal elements, compounds and all. See, non-metals are generally soft in nature. They are non-malleable, not ductile. They are not sonorous. Okay, but still there are some elements related to non-metal which have little bit like properties, but they are not non-metals. Okay, so these, see, generally non-metals are either solids or gases. Exception case is bromine. It is a liquid form. Okay, so we will start one by one. Firstly, non-metals are solids or gases. Non-metals are solids or gases. Okay. So here what we can do, we will take example. We will take one or three to four elements. Then we will try to find which is non-metal, which is metal. Okay. What are the properties related to that? Okay. We will take sulfur. We will take carbon. Or here you can take graphite also. Okay. Sulfur, carbon, oxygen you can take, iodine you can take. Okay. We will take these three only better. Sulfur, carbon and iodine we will take. So we will try to compare properties with all these. So first is we will find about their hardness, about malleability, about ductility, about conductivity, about sonority. Okay. So you see the sulfur, carbon, iodine. Sulfur is a powder form, crystalline powder form which is yellow in color. Okay. Then when you compare this, it is not hard. It is crystal form. It is not malleable. We cannot draw into sheets. Okay. It is not ductile because we cannot take into thin wires. And this is not good conductor of electricity. Okay. Then it is not producing any sound. Means this is confirmed. These all properties will confirm that sulfur is a non-metal. Okay. Coming into carbon. Carbon is, you take carbon, generally you take graphite only. It is soft. You take a hammer and break it, it will break away. Okay. Is it malleable? No. We cannot draw into sheets. Not malleable. Is it ductile? No, we cannot draw into thin wires. Okay. Conductivity, exception case. Okay. So in this two are exception case, right here, graphite, it is a good conductor of electricity. Okay. Then I told about they are either solids or liquids. But exception case is bromine, which is a non-metal liquid form. Liquid form. Okay. So these are good conductor and they don't produce any sound. Okay. So it is confirmed that carbon is a non-metal. Iodine crystals are little bigger in size, but they have shining nature. But generally metals are shining in nature, metals are lustrous. But rare case is iodine, which is a non-metal and it is a shining nature, but it is not solid, it is brittle, it is not malleable, not ductile, it is a non-conductor and it is lustrous but it is not produce any sound. So these are the properties of non-metals. Okay. Now coming to comparison of metals with some non-metals. Okay. When you compare these, so you know very well, all the metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Okay. And all the metals are generally solids because they have a high boiling and melting point. Metals are solids because they have a high melting and boiling point. In these exception cases, mercury is in liquid form. Mercury is in liquid form. Okay. But in that metal there are two metals, gallium and cesium. So they are soft metal. So what happens here? Their melting point is very less, boiling point, melting point very less, because when you keep on your palm, they will melt. They will melt. They have less boiling point, melting point, even though they are metals. Exception case. Okay. Then coming to iodine. I told iodine is a solid crystal, which is a session nature, even though it is a non-metal. Then coming to carbon. Compare carbon here. Okay. So this carbon is available in the form of allotrophic forms. What is allotrophy? Here it has three forms of allotropes. When you say allotrope is structurally they are different, but chemically they are same. Chemically all the allotrophic forms of carbon are made up of what? Carbon only. And in that case, you take graphite. This is one type of allotrope of carbon. Diamond. So diamond is hardest substance. Natural hardest substance is diamond. Hardest substance is diamond. Okay, this is good conductor. Okay. Good conductor. So this is about mercury and compared to non-metals, and the iodine is a crystalline form. Carbon, which is, even though it is a non-metal, it is hardest form of substance in nature. Graphite is a good conductor, it is soft in nature, it is brittle in nature. Okay. Coming to one more set. So there are some metals which can be easily cut with knife. Like lithium, sodium, potassium. These all three are soft metal. They can be cut with a knife. And one more thing important is these are stored in some other forms because they are reactive also, highly reactive in nature also. That is why they are stored in water or kerosene. Okay. So after this, we will try to know what is actually a reactivity series. What is reactivity series? What is reactivity series? Here, it is a list of elements written in the form of decreasing order of their reactivity. Means highly reactive element is at the top, least reactive element is at the bottom. So these all you studied, this reactivity series you studied in your 8th class when you studied during the displacement reaction. You studied about all this. But still you should know what is reactivity series and what are the elements arranged in a reactivity series. Decreasing order of their reactivity. Okay. So for this I will give one small hint so that you are able to write the names of the reactivity series. So reactivity series is elements or a series of list of elements arranged in decreasing order of the reactivity. Decreasing order of the reactivity goes on decreasing from top to bottom. Decreasing order of their reactivity. Okay. So how will you rate? Can't remember, it is a log list. How will you rate? So I will do one thing, I will give a hint, you can take it positively. You write po, you write so, you write ka, posoka, mag. You can write posaka mag. Okay. Posaka mag al. Stop here. Then you write aluminium, lecum. Okay. Lecum. Okay. Lecum means this M is for mercury. Get lico. Lico. M curry. You can write M curry. Silgo. Right. Potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium. This is lead, iron, copper, mercury, silver, gold. So this is a hint for you, easily you can remember. Posaka magal. Right? Posaka magal. Right? Posaka magal. You can stop here. Liku, M curry, Sigo. So this is how small, it is small, you can easily remember. So it is potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium. I think zinc I left. Okay, we write zinc. Zilcum you can do zilcum. Zinc, lead, iron, zilcum, zilco, posaka, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, again zinc, iron, copper, mercury, silver, gold. So this is the reactivity series where you can remember easily and you can find the names of the elements. Potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, copper, mercury, silver, gold. This is the reactivity series. So based on this reactivity series only their displacement reaction takes place. Okay, this is about reactivity series. So next, okay, so now we will try to find study about occurrence of metals, occurrence of metals. You know very well. Almost most of the elements are component formed in the Earth's crust and even inside the sea waters. Okay, so Earth is having abundant nature of dissolved or stored minerals. Generally we call minerals. When you say minerals, see, sea water contains mostly the elements like compounds like sodium chloride, magnesium chloride. So many salts are there. They are stored in the water. They are present in the sea water. Okay. Coming to earth crust. When you take earth crust, there are many of the compounds present in the earth crust. Okay. And there are some elements or compounds which are in free state also. They are available in free state. So the substances which are or materials which are available in earth crust are called minerals. Okay. And you know some minerals are rich in some metals. So from that minerals we are able to extract metals which is profitably good for us. So that mineral which is profitable for us will become an ore. Okay. So what is actually ore? I told already. When you extract any metal, if it is rich, if any mineral is rich in that metal, if you extract for that profitable nature, that becomes an ore. So ore. Okay. See, then where are they available? I told that they are available in earth crust, they are available in the sea water, and there are some methods of extraction. Directly we cannot go and dig and get it. There are some scientific processes, technological processes where we have to go stepwise and we can get it. Again, I told in the reactivity series what I wrote here: potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, copper, mercury, silver, gold. So when you say these all are series, there are some elements which are most of the elements are found in combined form. Okay, and few elements are found in free state, and few of them elements are found in the earth crust as a minerals. Okay, so when you take we divide these as highly reactive, moderately reactive, least reactive. Highly reactive elements are at the top of the reactivity series. So from potassium to aluminium, they become highly reactive. They are called highly reactive elements. Okay, or highly reactive elements. These are moderately to zinc, iron, copper, silver. These are moderately reactive. These silver, gold, or platinum are least reactive. They are very less reactive nature, least reactive. Okay. So these highly reactive elements are never found in combined state. So they are always found in combined state. They are never found in free state. Due to that, we have to employ one method called electrolysis, electrolytic reduction. We use electrolysis method to extract, to get this elements. Okay. So for moderately reactive elements, we use a method, very simple one. Okay. So in this method, first they are in the form of combined state. When you say combined state, suppose we have to take one by one. Suppose you take iron. Iron is present in the form of iron oxide. Okay. So again, these will undergo different steps. That's what I told. Enrichment of ore takes place. Then purification of ore takes place. And again, reduction takes place. Then afterwards, it is refining. So this stepwise we will extract one by one. Okay. But these are available in the form of combined state as ores. So mostly these are carbonates or sulfates. They are found in the form of carbonates or sulfates. Which one? Moderately one. They are either in the form of carbonates or sulfate. There are, okay. Some of them are in oxide form also. When you say oxide form direct, because most of the elements are in oxide form, so that it is easy because of the their highly reactive nature. We are able to extract them easily because of easy method. Already they are available in the form of oxide form. Okay. So carbonates, sulfates. Then lastly they are least reactive. They are available in the state? Free state. Free state. So these will undergo different steps also. First they undergo so first we get ore, okay, and there is again one step called concentration. This purity, concentration or enrichment, same. Okay, so we have one is highly reactive elements. Moderately reactive, and some are little least reactive. Okay. So first, when what we do here, this we have three steps here, this way here. Okay. So directly they undergo electrolysis. Okay. Again they are reduced. Electrolytic reduction, they will undergo reduction and they form metals or their elements. Pure form. Pure form. Okay. But in this case there are two cases. One is this is used for sulfides. Sometimes this is for carbonates. Okay. If they are in the form of sulfides, they will undergo cancellation. A step called cancellation. What they do in cancellation? They heat this sulfide ore in the absence of air. In the absence of air, it is heated strongly, and from that again we get pure form, and these undergo roasting. Roasting is heating in the presence of oxygen. They undergo roasting. So this way, we extract different elements in different forms. Okay, moderate rate, least rate. These are available in form of free state. No problem. Okay. So this is the simple diagram where we can try to get metal which is in pure form. Okay. So tomorrow we will continue the class. Thank you. Have a nice day.